What's the matter? Natasha said, slightly stunned. I just received word that Dustin has been arrested by the military. In a no-nonsense manner, Ruth quickly gave a simple explanation of what happened. After Natasha heard the whole story, her face instantly grew solemn. Using the military to arrest him? It seems like the one behind this comes from a decent background. Natasha, do you think the Hummers did this? Ruth asked, frowning slightly. Yesterday, Dustin went on a killing spree at the Hummers and even crippled Edwin's son. The Hummers definitely won't let this go easily. It definitely has something to do with them. However, just Edwin's network alone is clearly not enough to invoke the power of the military. I'm guessing the Grant family must have played a hand in this, Natasha said thoughtfully. Jade was Joshua's fiancée. Considering their relationship, there was no way the Grant family would sit around and do nothing. As one of the Tremend OU's three, the Grant family had immense power over the Bolano military. Taking care of someone with no backing would be far too easy. Although she already knew that Dustin would be in trouble, she didn't expect it to be so soon. Natasha, what do we do now? Ruth asked hesitantly. Go and find out where Dustin is being locked up. Leave the rest to me. As soon as Natasha finished speaking, she turned around and went out the door. She knew that the battle was starting. This time, she was going to fight the Hummers to the death. Meanwhile, at the Hummer villa, Joshua lay on the bed, his face ashen. His arms were wrapped in thick bandages, and he looked listless. Next to him sat an old man that was only skin and bones. He was completely focused on administering treatment, droplets of sweat beading on his forehead. Edwin and Tina watched silently from the door, not daring to make a noise for fear of disturbing him. The old man in front of him was none other than the miracle doctor, Dr. Rowan Cross. After a long time, Rowan finally stood. Edwin couldn't stop himself from speaking up. Dr. Cross, how is my son? Mr. Hummer, I have reattached your son's arms. It's just that from today onward, he won't be able to lift heavy things anymore. Rowan dabbed the sweat on his forehead. What about his internal injuries? Can his injured core recover? Edwin pressed. Whether or not he could restore his cultivation was the most important part. It concerned his son's future. The core is not like the arms, restoring it would be very difficult. Nevertheless, I can continue to research any ancient methods that could work, Rowan said, not making any promises. Then please, Dr. Cross, do everything that you can. Once it's done, our family will reward you handsomely, Edwin said gratefully. As long as there was a glimmer of hope left, they couldn't give up so easily. It's all that damn Dustin's fault. How could he hurt my brother so badly? I'm going to rip him to shreds. Tina grumbled fiercely. Wait a minute, Rowan paused. Did you just say Dustin hurt your brother? That's right. It was that animal. Tina nodded heavily. When Rowan heard that, his face darkened, and he said coldly, based on my observation, your brother cannot be treated. He'll just be a cripple for the rest of his life. You should hope for the best. Farewell. With that, he left with his medical kit. Both father and daughter looked at each other, unable to understand what had just gone down. What the fuck just happened? He'd been very pleasant earlier, so why did his demeanor change in a blink of an eye? Were all miracle doctors this moody? As Rowan walked out of the Hummer villa, he didn't forget to turn around and spit on the ground, cursing. How dare you ask me to treat your family after you wronged my savior? Eat shit.